G'day cobbers and coppuccinos. So there is a new dev diary out and Paradox is making some pretty big changes to support companies. So let's have a look. This one's a pretty brief dev diary, honestly, but the changes in it are quite significant. So they're changing the way support companies affect battalions, or affect your divisions rather. Currently, your support companies give a flat bonus across the whole division, regardless of the size or the width or how many battalions you have in it. What they're doing is they're changing it now so that, for example, engineers, rather than giving a bonus of 5 entrenchment, they're going to give a bonus of 0.25 entrenchment per infantry battalion in that template. Pretty huge change, honestly. It's, for one, it's going to make it a little bit more complicated to work out what bonus you're going to be getting, particularly if you're like planning ahead and you're not in the process of making the division, because I'm sure it will show you when you're creating it. But yeah, and then obviously doctrines will affect that differently as well, depending on the size of your division. The reason they give for this is because they want the doctrines to play more of a role in influencing how you make your divisions rather than the other way around. So let's have a bit of a look at some of the examples they provide. Coming back to the engineer example, the basic stat of the infantry battalion in your template, theoretically, if this goes ahead, no changes, would increase the division's entrenchment by 0.25. It kind of makes sense in a historical context because a division that only has like 4 or 5 battalions in it isn't going to be able to like dig in and provide the same level of entrenchment as, you know, a larger division would, I guess. And it's going to be definitely changing the way that I play. It, by the looks of this, it's not going to be anywhere near worth putting support companies on smaller divisions because the benefit you get for that equipment cost is going to be way less. For example, if you've got a 10 width division, you're only going to be getting an entrenchment of what, 1.25, but then if you have a 20 width or 30 width division, that benefit is going to be greatly increased. I'm saying greatly increased because I can't do maths off the top of my head. They've given us a bit of an overview of some of the other support companies they're going to be providing bonuses to as well. So they're giving Recon some love, which is actually, I think, well overdue. The Recon's needed some sort of better incentive to use it for a long time. So by default, any Recon company is going to provide a 10% soft attack bonus to all your battalions in the artillery category. So if you've got your 7.2s or whatever other template that people say is meta right now, basically you got a bunch of line artillery, you can increase that soft attack by 10% just by having Cav Recon in there. It'll be super cheap. It's not like going to add a lot of extra like production cost to your division. So I think we'll see people using Recon a lot more, which thank God, because what was the point of having it anyway? Also, light tank recons are they're going to give a 10% heart attack bonus to armor divisions, which again makes sense if you've got an armored division. Like, I say historically, obviously I'm sure there's exceptions to this, but if you have a tank division, it makes sense that you would have light tanks going ahead to scout, and that's going to make them fight more effectively, hence the heart attack bonus. So makes a lot of sense. Great change. I think it'll lead to some more common sense division design pairings as well. You're not necessarily, you're not necessarily going to see cavalry riding ahead to spot targets. But you know what? We'll not go there. That's fine. And they do say they're going to elaborate on Recon a bit more. Maybe we'll get another dev diary soon, but they say that they're going to get some more bonuses as well. So who knows? Maybe Recon will be the new meta. We'll have to wait and see. And field hospitals are getting a huge buff. So they're going to increase the HP stat of all infantry battalions by 10%, which is actually massive. The HP is a really understood stat, I think. Basically, it's just going to mean that your infantry battalions are going to be able to fight harder, longer, and take less damage while they're doing it. So HP is actually a really important stat. Infantry overall are really getting a bit of an increase by this, so good on infantry. Flame tanks are going to be getting an increase of 5% breakthrough to infantry battalions. Just like in the Pacific, those flame tanks rolling up, torching the bunkers. Nice little bonus there, again, to your attacking infantry divisions. And then military police are going to finally have a use outside of your garrisons. So they're going to be increasing the base org recovery rate for your infantry battalions by 20%, that's so good. Basically, it means that when your infantry, like when your division comes out of combat and then they're getting their org back so they can rejoin the fight, or if you're getting pushed back, they'll regain their org a bit quicker, which will mean they're going to fight better when the enemy does push them. So I think using them in a defensive capacity is going to be quite strong. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how players use that. And then, of course, there will be some doctrine changes to align with this as well. So you can see here that rather than just giving like a flat bonus to particular support companies or whatever, they're doing it for the battalion modifier. The engineers giving you that 0.25% bonus, or, you know, whatever bonus is going to your artillery. It's going to be increasing the bonus per battalion now rather than like per division, which still effectively is increasing the attack across the division, of course, but just the way it's calculated is going to be a bit different. So again, meaning you're going to be getting more of a bonus for the larger division that you have. Kind of the way it worked before, in essence anyway, because the wider your division, the more stats you had to get bonuses on. But because the support company is affecting directly the number of battalions, it will be more beneficial this way past a certain point. Anyway, we'll have to wait and see how it looks when it comes out. These are basically just examples anyway of how the doctrines might be changing, so you guys can come and have a look at this. I'm sure some of it will change prior to launch or this being rolled out, but basically, again, more bonuses to recon as well. And of course, they reiterate that it is just a work in progress. More of the values might change. Different things will come and go as they get feedback and see how it goes. So make sure you comment below and let me know what you guys think of this. So the main takeaways from all of this, the main one is that smaller divisions are not going to be worth putting support companies on. The reason being that they don't provide just a flat bonus anymore. Whereas, you know, if you had a 10 width division or a 30 width, 40 width division before, adding engineers provided the same bonus. It provided the same amount of entrenchment, right? Now, the smaller division is going to get significantly less benefit than a larger division would, but with the same equipment cost. So your small 10 width divisions, don't even worry about putting support on them. Also, field hospitals are going to be incredibly strong. HP is, like I said, a really misunderstood stat, I think. It's going to lead to some interesting combinations of pairing up maybe recon, field hospitals, and military police for a defensive division to keep the infantry in the fight for longer and, you know, make them a bit stronger. So going on from that too, infantry are getting a lot of love from this update, and I think that it's kind of going to lead into the trend of armored battalions or like armored divisions not really being worth the cost. I know that that was the case a little while ago where people were just using infantry to attack rather than armor because it takes so much industrial capacity to build an armor division when you can get really good performance out of some infantry. And I think that this is kind of skewing the balance even more towards infantry. So I would love to see more stuff done to increase the strength of tank divisions, make them a little bit more viable. There's a significant cost incurred in making them. So yeah, will be interesting to see if anything comes out for them too. But in any case, what do you guys reckon? Let me know below. Obviously, we don't know when this is coming out, but I think it'll be really interesting to see some of the creative things that people do come up with once it is released. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you later.